Just let us know when you're ready.
Yes, you can start. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
But Lunara,
So,
can you do this introduction very briefly again, because you're recording now? I think it should be in the record, you know. I mean, whoever is going to watch this video, they should know who we are. Can you do that again very briefly, please?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Dear participants who are watching this recording, we are glad to see you at the virtual open house day of the Computer Science Department. Let me introduce our speakers. So it's Adnan Yazici, he's a department chair. And also we have Ben Tyler, he's an associate professor and associate department chair. Thank you.
okay, so thank you all for coming to this evening's presentation. Actually, on the presentation side of things, we don't want to take up too much time. We just want to give you a glimpse into the different programs that we offer and tell you a little bit more about the department itself and kind of what we're all about. But really, if you have any questions, there should be plenty of time at the end, but also later on, if you find that you have other kind of questions or things that you don't want to ask now, or it may kind of pop into your head later, don't hesitate to send us an email if you have any queries about our programs or just general idea of what we're all about. But today I wanted to start things out to talk a bit about just studying computer science, and in particular studying it at Nazarbayev University. So, of course, I think most of you know that computer science is one of the hottest professions these days, and probably will be for the foreseeable future. Although understand computer science is a fairly broad field and has many different opportunities for graduates going on into the workplace or in academia in the future. But it is a rapidly changing, rapidly evolving, but it also presents many different opportunities. Of course, if you just do a quick search on the internet and look through places like US News or LinkedIn, and today I just read an article on, I think it was CNN, just talking about what are the biggest, most promising jobs out there. And most of the time, computer science is right up there, or things very closely related to computer science. But this isn't a big surprise. This isn't a big mystery to people who have been just paying attention to what's been going on in the world, what's been going on in the workplace. For people who would be interested in any of our programs, and so I'm talking in general, not just for the undergraduate students, but also graduate students, people who might be interested in pursuing a master's degree or a PhD with us. There's many different things that you can do. I know for several years now, there's been the Digital Kazakhstan initiative, where people can work locally in government and industry. I believe many of our students have placed in government or associated positions working on many of these initiatives. But of course, there are the regular software companies that many students after graduation go on to. Some of the big names such as Google, Meta, Facebook, Amazon, etc. A lot of students are really interested in going to these places, but of course there's also a lot of opportunities here locally. There's a lot of other businesses, a lot of startups, even places like Cosmonai Gas. They have fairly large IT departments. They have a lot of people who are working in data analytics, looking at just supply chain stuff. People who have degrees in computer science or related areas are highly sought after and generally get fairly well paid for the work that they do. And I should also mention that we do have several students who have gone on to work at Google. I think we have a few working at Facebook as well as Apple. I'm not sure if I know of anybody who's gone on to Amazon, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have a few that have wound up there as well. Other areas that are of interest, things like artificial intelligence or intelligent systems. There are many different companies out there that kind of focus on these types of technologies. And of course, if you get a degree with us at Nazarbayev University, you should be well positioned to enter in the workforce in these areas. And of course, there's also the technology sector, Siemens, Oracle, etc. We often get requests from many of the big local, well, the large international companies who have a local footprint here will often come and say, could you please provide us with 20, 30 graduates because we have a shortage, we have this definite need for people. We have these positions that need to be filled. So there is very high demand for these types of jobs. And of course, there's always the research route. Although when we talk of research in computer science, we're not always talking about academia going off to be a professor or whatnot at a university. Also understand that many places in industry, and I argue that most of these places that we've listed up here have a very strong research arm that people will actually go and create and invent new things for them. So this is also a great option. And of course, finally, I need to mention the entrepreneurship angle. This has been for a while something that many of our students, our past students, have gone on to do. They've gotten the entrepreneurship bug early on and said that, you know, my goal is to start a new company. I have this vision. I don't quite know how to make it real just yet, but then after going through our programs here, they go off and launch, and we have several success stories that I can share with you. Actually, just this past semester, we had one of our graduates from about 4 or 5 years ago talk about his company that he built and how he's been helping and doing work with several other large companies in Kazakhstan as part of this. So there's many different opportunities for folks after graduation, regardless of whether you're just getting the master's degree, PhD degree, undergraduate degree, just many options. So a little bit about computer science, the department at NU. The department is, well, I guess we're in our 11th year. I was with the first cohort of faculty members. The department started out with 3 faculty members. And now I believe we have around 17 full faculty members, 2 instructors, and 2 postdocs. But in the early days, the original planning for the department was done in collaboration with Carnegie, which is a commercial offshoot of the Software Institute, Software Research Institute at Carnegie Mellon. And so when we started designing the programs, in particular the undergraduate programs, we wanted to make sure that they were aligned with ACM and IEEE guidelines so that we could undergo ABET accreditation. And actually just this past year, we went through another refresh cycle to get ourselves positioned and aligned so that we can start doing ABET activities very soon. Also, I should mention about our graduate programs. We have a master's degree in computer science, as well as a master's degree in data science, as well as a PhD in computer science. And these degree programs are set up to be flexible, so that if you have interests in things like, for example, like bioinformatics or computer hardware, we have a PhD student who is interested in I believe like modeling of biological systems, things like this. These are things that students are able to do. We have the flexibility where students can take courses with other departments, reach out and work with people across the way, not just in computer science. So we do have a lot of interactions with people outside of our department, as do our students. Also, another, I'd say, a guiding principle of our department and our curricula, both undergraduate and graduate, that we really start out with a strong core. Again, we've been always looking at kind of what's being done in the top universities in the West, but also because we're a new university, relatively new university, we've had the opportunity to try to be rather progressive and do some new things and try to stay ahead of the curve. So we do try to make sure that everybody has a really firm foundation. I don't want to say a strong theoretical foundation because I don't want to scare some people off, but we do want to make sure that people do have what they need going forward, that they really understand the nuts and bolts of computer science. But on the other hand, we also want to make sure that when students are finished with their degree programs, that they are actually able to go out in the workforce and that they're able to be successful, that they don't have to go through this months or even years of additional training so that they can actually be contributing to the workplace. So we've always had this strong hands-on approach to learning, where we've had labs where students will actually touch the devices, configure the devices, and run the devices. Now, this hasn't been something we've been able to do a whole lot in the past 2 years during COVID, since everything has been completely online, but hopefully that situation will change soon. But this is something that we've been very adamant about, that our students do get this real experience in the labs working with real technologies. And in fact, I should say this, in particular with our undergraduate program, it has been the case that after just 2 years in our program, where students are only halfway through, they've gathered enough skills where they're able to go and get very good internships the following summer. So at that point, they have already learned and got enough experience in the class where that they can actually go off and contribute to some of these places. And in particular, like last summer, we had several students, I would say, I think we had maybe about 10 students who did a Google internship. Of course, it was online because everything was online. But we had many people who were participating in that. I know this next summer we have one student who is going to Ireland to work for Meta. So he's all excited about that as well. And we've actually had a very, I would say, very successful, very robust program where students are allowed to go out and do these internships, many of them international internships, to get course credit. So this is also another opportunity, but this is something that students are generally ready for just after their second year. Okay, so I'm moving on here. I should say a few words about the department itself. So we have 16 professors now, 2 instructors and 2 postdocs. We're still growing. Actually, that number will go up to 17 in about a month. Because we have an additional faculty member who will be arriving shortly. But if you take a look at where many of our faculty members have gotten their advanced degrees, many of these places are well-known and well-respected internationally. So if you take a look like MIT, St. Andrews, University of Edinburgh, Tulane, Ohio State, a lot of really great places. So let's see. And in terms of what our areas of expertise are and what things we focus on, in some ways, this changes from year to year, just from kind of faculty interest, but kind of faculty coming in and what they're working on. So if you don't see something here, it doesn't mean we're not doing it or that we won't be doing it in the future. But these are areas in which we have worked with or worked in quite a bit. Of course, we have a very strong group of people who are doing AI work and intelligent systems, as well as data science. A lot of people have been working in these areas, and there's quite a bit of overlap and synergy with that. We also have many people who are doing work in big data and big data analytics. And of course, as part of that, there's also machine learning, deep learning is an important part of that. Now, things like working in systems such as mobile devices. We've had a lot of people who do app development. In fact, anymore, so much of what people are using these days in terms of software and applications are on your mobile device, that our software engineering and our projects classes, almost many of these projects, I'd say probably more than half of them, have a mobile component to them. So we also have people who are doing work in sensors and Internet of Things. Actually, it looks like we're going to be kind of restarting our IoT class this coming fall. And so we're kind of excited about that as well. And of course, we have a few people who are working in internets and information security, looking at digital forensics. We've actually had people working in that since the very beginning. And if you've been kind of paying attention to what's one of the big fields that are subfields of computer science that's kind of exploding, or that the demand has risen considerably with all the stuff that's been going on in the world, is in information security. So this is becoming a ever hotter area that people have shown interest in, and also in particular potential employers. Okay, so with that, I am going to briefly go through kind of some of the features of our undergraduate and graduate programs, though I'm not going to dwell too much on it. If people have specific questions or want to get a hold of the curriculum documents for more information, you can always request that. That can be made available. But for our undergraduate program, it is a standard 3-year program where really the first year is more of getting foundations in mathematics, in physics, and also in programming. So this is, and if you note, we're only wanting you to take 4 courses a semester in your first year, because we want you to be successful. We want you to really get that firm foundation and get yourself off to a good start for the rest of your for the rest of the program. The second year, we start working a little bit more in programming, understanding kind of how computers actually work in the computer systems course. And then the 4th semester is more about kind of some of the foundational aspects of computer science. Then the 3rd year, then we start getting into kind of some more deeper stuff, things like database, AI, software engineering. This is a big projects course that we have. And then also in the spring, we have networks, operating systems, and then we have a research methods class that's really getting you prepared for your final year, where we have a 2-semester capstone project where you and a group will pick a project to work on under the guidance of a faculty advisor. And so at the very end of this, the idea is that you're using all of this knowledge, all this stuff that you've learned throughout the program, and kind of bringing everything together to build something cool and interesting. And at the end of spring, we've been having these demo days for industry. Now, recently we've had to do this virtually, but hopefully this will change very, very soon, where we'll be able to go back and do these in person. So I can put together a poster, you can put together your project. Some people actually had some hardware gadgets that they built to show off, and it's quite cool. One other thing I should mention about the bachelor's program, though, we also have room really in your last year also to take many technical electives. So if there's a particular area of computer science that you want to dive deeper in, you can start doing that. You can start doing that in your third year, really, but the fourth year, if you look at the curriculum, it's really oriented around that. Okay, so now I'm going to switch to the master's program. So we have two master's programs, one in computer science and another in data science. And actually, I should say it's quite flexible in terms of what electives you can take, so that you can kind of tailor the program to your particular interests and needs. Although we do require everybody to take the introductory kind of ramp-up programming course. But aside from that, you have a lot of flex there. We do want everybody to take at least one theory course, one systems course, and one course in AI, so they have sort of a broad base of knowledge. But again, it's really more oriented towards you and what your interests are. And some of the very popular electives that students tend to take, we have a deep learning course. We have a course that, deep learning, computer vision. We have a quantum computing course. We have a course that we've been running for a while, the algorithmic trading course. But also we have some more theory-oriented courses. So we have a wide selection of things that will help you realize your own interests. Now, I should also mention, if you notice here in the final semester here, that's supposed to be devoted purely to thesis work, because this is really a thesis-based master's degree. So at the very end, the expectation is that you are actually working on this research project and putting together a thesis document, explaining and kind of demonstrating your mastery of the particular area of computer science that you've been investigating. Okay, now moving on to the data science master's program. There's a little less flexibility here because it's more focused, and that students are required to take courses, of course, in data science. And if you look here, we have like a big data course and a data mining course that's also part of this. But we also have math courses, like a probability and stats course. We tend to also recommend students, if they can fit it into their schedule, to also get like a statistical learning course with the math department. But again, there is room for students to tailor things to their own interests and needs here with the electives. And with as is the case with the computer science program, the data science program is also thesis based. So in your final year, the expectation is that you're starting to do work, starting to do research work, starting to do working on the project, and your final semester is really geared towards you kind of wrapping things up with your research and finalizing that thesis document. Okay, now I don't have a separate slide here for the PhD program. In a sense, the PhD program is actually extremely flexible in what courses that you can take. I believe the requirement is that you take, I forget the number, I think it's 6 or 8 elective courses. Plus you have research courses that you're required to take. You're required to take a research literature course as well. Another course in research ethics. But by and large, your focus, the focus of the first year is to take courses in particular areas and start preparing for the qualifying exam. In particular, we have an exam that you have to take at the end of your first year in three specific areas of computer science, and you have to demonstrate competency for you to continue in the program. But you get to choose two of those areas. The first one is programming and algorithms and data structures. So everybody should be well versed in that, but the other two, you do have some flex there. But really, after your first year in the PhD program, you will also have to defend your thesis proposal or your thesis research plan. But then after that, it's really just you working with your advisor, making progress towards your work, which will culminate in the end in a PhD thesis and a dissertation defense at the end. Okay, so I guess that's all I have to say. For now anyway, and I've been talking for a while now, so I should probably turn things over to Adnan right now. So do you have anything you want to add, Adnan, or do we want to open things up?
Actually, you just very nicely wrapped it up. You know, maybe I should add the fact that right now computer science department is the most popular department in the university, not only in engineering. The number of our undergraduate students that we have is more than the rest of the departments in engineering. Actually, the whole engineering departments, the number of students they have are not even equal to only the number of students that we have in our department. So therefore, it's very popular. But of course, this popularity is not only in Nazarbayev University, but in the whole world. I mean, I know West, United States, and all the Europe and everywhere, computer science is the most popular area or discipline that all the young people are trying to just get in and do the studies, because future is very bright, and nowadays everywhere in the world there is a very huge demand for the computer science graduates. And of course our department is, as Professor Ban said, full of really very excellent faculty members, and I think we are given very high level education comparable to the best universities in the world. So therefore we are very comfortable about the excellency of the education that we have in our department. And at the same time, in graduate level, data science and computer science, both of them are the most demanded programs, graduate programs in the university. We get the highest number of not acceptance, but applications. But of course, we can accept only a certain number of the students. And we are trying to grow, and we try to get more faculty members into our department, because we are very big, and we need more faculty, young research-oriented faculties. So other than that, our department is really, really very friendly. All of us have very student oriented, let's say. We always listen to them. We always try to understand their needs and take each one of the comments very, very seriously. And we always try to develop ourselves and get into another level. And we are not saying we are perfect and stop whatever we are doing. No, we know that we can get better and better every year. So this is the way that we are. And we really, really hope to see you in our department. Hopefully physically see you as well. Unfortunately, the last 2 years, we don't see our students. When I was, walking in the atrium in the university, a few students just jumped from my behind. Professor Adnan, just try to come to me and, oh, hello. And they say, you know, we are your students right now in your class. Oh, well, I said, unfortunately, no idea, because I never see you, because I teach on my classes online and I don't see any face. And so therefore, this is a kind of pity. I didn't feel really very good, because I don't know even the faces of my students. I hope these days are going to end very soon. We are hoping so. After this is the last semester, maybe some courses are going to be online, and from now on, we are going to go back to the normal business and be able to just look at your eyes and see you in the classroom and, you know, get along. So we are really looking forward to that. So I think Professor Ben explained all this really very well. I will just let you just ask your questions. I think we can just jump into the question and answering session right now.
Okay, great. Dear professor, thank you very much for your presentation. It's interesting to know more about computer science programs. So we have the first question. Could you please look at that in the chat box? So is it, should this person to get a degree or go online learning? What do you think about it?
I will say this, that yes, there are certain things you can learn online, and you can get some education and things online. But I would also say that there's not, well, you can't really compare the two things, because the in-person experience, the hands-on experience, actually being in the classroom experience, that's something that you're just not going to get online. I mean, if you're looking just to pick up a handful of skills, yeah, you could probably do that online and all of that. But I mean, if you really want a degree and really not just learn particular skills, but really learn how to learn, because that's something that I think is actually very important for people in the area of computer science, because things change rapidly. And the university, really that's part of the whole education. So we want people to be problem solvers. We want them to be creative thinkers, and we want them to know when a new technology kind of comes over the horizon in, say, 2 or 3 years, after they've graduated, they have the ability to kind of quickly ramp up and kind of learn what that's all about. Okay. And I don't think that's something you can get from the online thing.
Yeah. Actually, this is a kind of debate, you know, but of course, as Professor Ben said, online courses you can take always complement what you learn in the, you know, in the department. Of course, degree is also very important. So therefore, I think the information that Professor Ben shared, I think is good enough. Let me answer Janur's question. What are the challenging obstacles which are faced by the students during their first year's undergraduate programs? Here, I think Ben teaches first year undergraduate programming courses. He will, I'm sure, add certain things. But I have to say that for some students, first year is a little bit difficult. It is like, I think I can have an analogy with the music. Learning, you know, programming and getting into computer science in the first year courses is required a little bit being patient and trying things by yourself. It's like learning a musical instrument. You know, you just have to try. I mean, you can know the notas, but it's not enough. You know, it just, you have to just try and try. So therefore, if you are good in mathematics, actually, okay, and you have the patience to really try by yourself as much as possible. Of course, we are going to be a big help for you. And then I think you will be really great. But what I can promise you is that after you pass through first courses, programming courses successfully, you will really love computer science and all the other courses. But in the first courses, for some students, it can be a little bit tedious and a little bit hard to just observe some of them for some time, but eventually you are there. So please, Professor Ben, just add to what it is, because you've been doing this for many years.
Yeah, I would say probably the biggest challenge for undergraduate students, in particular first-year undergraduate students, is kind of time management. And it's very easy to get distracted because you're in this new environment with many people your own age with similar interests, and sometimes doing certain things other than studying may look very appealing on a Friday night when maybe you should be finishing up your project in some class. Actually, I was mentioning some of this successful entrepreneur who was helping with and interfacing with many big companies in Kazakhstan. I remember his first year. Oh my God, after his first year, he had a rough time of it because the way he allocated his time was student clubs and kind of social activities sort of came first for him. He was like the member of about 4 different dance clubs. And then at the end, I mean, we had to have a talk because it's like, well, why are your grades this way? He said, well, I don't know, I'm just busy having fun. But once you kind of get over that and kind of learn to focus and learn how to manage your time properly, usually things go better. I know a lot of students in the end saying, yeah, my first year and a half were the hardest ones. But once you kind of get over that hill, things will become easier. You'll get more kind of the groove or the pace of student life.
Okay. You know, this Festus is asking a question. I'm sure, Ben, you would like to answer that, but what I should answer the Dozjan questions, asking how many PhD applicants do we plan to accept? You know, they always, school decides on how many we can accept, sometimes 5, 6, 7, sometimes 4. But I have to tell you that I think you should apply. I mean, don't worry about how many we accept, because that can change depending on the scholarships that are going to be allocated to the school and how many of them are going to be given to our department. That really changes. So I think independent of the number, don't worry about the numbers, just go ahead and apply if you are really interested in the PhD, okay, in our department. So don't worry about that, those shots.
Yeah, I think
you answer the Festus, Ben.
Let's see. The question was about international with respect to internships, placements, and other. Okay.
Highlight example with emphasis.
So okay. So well, let me ask this question: are you talking about being like an undergraduate student, or?
I think so, because you mentioned
okay.
about the internship, about those.
Yeah. So I guess, I mean, it depends. If you're, say, like over summer and then you're going to go to your home country, then I would certainly, then that's fine. You could do an internship. You could do an internship there. Actually, the way that our internship program is set up, it's not really, we find jobs for you and we put you in these jobs, or this isn't even done through career services at NU. Usually students go and find these positions opened up on the job market. And what they have to do is they have to provide documentation. They have to provide us with contact information, contract information, so we kind of understand exactly what you're doing. But the kind of the location of the internship is not really an issue, as long as what you're doing is something that is relevant to computer science that we can give course credit for.
Okay, let me answer this question asked by Assad. When they can expect the result of our application for master degree. Well, we cannot give you the exact date, but we have a committee, they just get together in June sometime. And after they make that decision, and our administrative people like Lonara, or Alia, whoever is going to be the responsible, they will just let you know. But the day we cannot say because the committee must meet first. And the other question Didar is asking, is it possible to do research in freshman and sophomore years? Yes, there are lots of examples of this. Actually, I personally had some students working with me starting in freshman. But I have to tell you that in order to get some support, research support, like RA, undergraduate RA, you have to pass the sophomore year. I mean, only in third year, you can get some support from some projects. But of course, you can start earlier. And maybe I will use this opportunity to acknowledge Karina and Yelja, my very, very great students. Right now, they are in London working in a very top international companies over there. They just graduated last year. So therefore, the road is open for you to do research even starting from freshman. And there are lots of examples of those in our university, in our department, I'm sorry. And there is, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was also going to mention too, that you mentioned that students aren't really supposed to be a research assistant until their third year. The same goes for getting credit for internships. The university's view on this is that students really need to focus on their studies, and they don't want them to be distracted from their core studies. But they figure after 2 years, then it's okay to help kind of further promote internships and research assistantships.
Well, another question, Olabisi is saying that is it possible you might change core courses and electives in Bachelor next 3-4 years? Yeah, that's possible. But I have to tell you that we've been going with the ABET accreditation requirements, and our program is equivalent to the top universities. For example, Princeton University Computer Science is equivalent to ours. Then there are because 5 different possibilities. Okay, we looked at ACM and IEEE guidelines, and as a kind of smaller computer science department as like Princeton University, it just matched with us. So therefore, ours is very compatible, similar to that one. But in future, our area is really changing very fast. If it's necessary to change some of those, yeah, sure, that can happen anytime. This computer science area discipline is that kind of area, is always evolving. And let's go to the next question. Janur is asking, what are the basic knowledges for students to have in computer science before being admitted to undergraduate? Nothing. Look, you have to like mathematics. You have to have the analytic thinking a little bit, and that's it. If you are a good student in high school, okay, and you don't hate mathematics, okay, you like mathematics, and and you pass the courses, your grade point average in high school is good. That means you are a good student. I think you're eligible. I think you can be successful. We are not expecting you to be really knowing the programming. I mean, there are lots of students come here without any knowledge at all in the program. But at the same time, we have some students from this hackathon, they have the gold medals and all the stuff, but don't get intimidated from them, and you are going to be as good as them after a few years, okay, after 1 or 2 years. So therefore, don't intimidate it with these friends that you have. They are very good in programming and you don't know any programming at all. Don't worry about that, nothing. Just come. If you are a good student and you don't hate mathematics, come, okay?
Good advice.
And thank
Good
you
advice.
so much. Your advisors, blah, blah. How can you reach out to our thesis supervisor? So I think, what are you talking about? Imtiaz, you are not even here. There is no thesis supervisor. First, you have to come and get acceptance, my friend. And you also asked the question, like, if you can come with your family here as a PhD student. I'm not very sure. You have to ask the administrative people. I think Lonara will know about it. We have no idea. We don't deal with this kind of administrative things.
Yes, of
And,
course, it's possible. Let me answer this
yeah.
question. So you can come with your family. You can, we have the opportunity to live in some kind of apartments for families. But however, their costs are not covered by the university. So some visa costs, some other things are not, expenses are not covered by the university, but still it's possible.
Aziza, asking what is the advantage of studying undergraduate CS students, I can assure you that the computer science department at Nazarbayev University is the best computer science department in Kazakhstan for sure. And it is very compatible to the very top universities in the world, okay? So therefore, that's the advantage. I mean, our students from here directly go to the very top school like Caltech, you know, Berkeley and some other for the graduate studies, or some top companies like Google or many European companies, top companies, directly, okay, with the Zoom interviewing, directly go there. And I think it is already known that the computer science department at Nazarbayev University is really very good, and it includes very compatible and excellent students. Of course, thanks to you that very high quality Kazakh students choose computer science department. So therefore, our students are mostly really, really excellent students of Kazakhstan. But of course, we add a lot to them. We give them really high level world quality education. So therefore, I can assure you about the quality of the university. I came from Middle East Tech University, Ankara. I was chair in computer science, and we get our program also is excellent. And believe me, the program that we have in Nazarbayev University is compatible to computer engineering, computer science department at METÜ, which is very well known in the world, and we have excellent students. So, but our program is very compatible to that and the other top universities. So therefore, don't worry, you can come very comfortably here. And you, yeah, is there any other question? Okay, thanks for the presentation. Are the requirements high for future PhD student? Well, I don't know what that means. Ayjan, requirements. Yeah, I mean, you have to pass through qualification exams. You have to be good research-oriented student, and your motivation should be high in research. And you know, if you are coming to PhD, I think you should come with the full commitment, Ayjan. Okay, it's not like coming here for undergraduate studies. PhD requires really real motivation. Okay, you have to have a big commitment.
Yeah.
So if you have some doubts about current knowledge, well, we can of course increase your knowledge, but your motivation should be high. Okay, Dan, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say both for the PhD programs and the master's programs, students should not treat it like a part-time job. You should treat it like a full-time job. So you need to kind of jump in with both of your feet and just go ahead and do it. I would say for the PhD program, I believe the requirement is that you have to have a master's degree in hand before you even apply. And so if the master's degree should be in computer science or something very closely related to that. So that's something that would be kind of scrutinized during the application process.
Okay, is there any other question?
There is a question about the barriers. What do you think?
Is that?
What do you think? What kind of barriers might face computer science student finishing Nazarbayev University, if there are any?
Barriers, olabisi, right? That's barrier. You have to be really very smart student and working hard, and okay, it's not a joke. I mean, to finish the computer science department, it just requires you to really work hard. Okay, I mean, I think it is really very compatible. All the students around you will be very good students. So therefore, if you feel that you are good, don't worry. But otherwise, you are going to have lots of barriers to come here. Okay, if you're not a very good student, don't even think about computer science. Think something else. Okay. Okay, it seems there is no other question. I think we can stop here. Lunara, what you think? Aliyah?
Yes, let's ask again our students and our participants. Sometimes there are some last minute questions. So dear participants, you can ask your questions just turning on your mic. So feel free. Also, I would like to add about the different study and having the studies at the university and comparing with the online courses. It's additionally, it's the supporting community in Nazarbayev University. I can see that a lot of students are participating in hackathons, in some contests, or in some student clubs. So it's important to have this kind of environment. Okay, you have a question you can ask.
So I was wondering, how is the hands-on experience fully implemented when you take online classes?
I didn't quite hear that.
I was wondering, hello, yeah, am I clear now?
Yes.
Yeah, I was wondering how the hands-on experience, the hands-on approaches are fully implemented through the online classes.
Well, for the online classes, we have had to make kind of do with the situation. I know for things like programming classes, students will have to install the required things on their own computers. I believe for many of the other courses, they would run kind of simulators on their computers for things like the computer systems course and the computer networking course. But I know during online, during the past 2 years, students haven't been able to kind of come into the labs and actually physically work on some of these things, though. This semester already, I do know for the microcontrollers class, students are coming in. Actually, students are required to come in because they need to actually get their hands on the Arduino and well, they're also, I don't know exactly what they're doing this semester, but they need to actually come into the labs, and hopefully that this will be, COVID will kind of peter out so we can kind of open up our other labs as well.
Okay, it's been equally to all our courses, the PhD, Masters, and Bachelors, the online classes, or is it like specific to one of the courses?
What is specific to one of the courses?
I mean, the online classes, is it equally to the Masters, Bachelors, and PhD?
Okay, the way that the online, we've had to do online the past 2 years because of COVID. This is temporary. It's not like in the future, we're not, unless something changes or we open up a new online program, which I haven't heard about, everything's going to be in person. So we're going to have in-person learning for all of the programs.
All right, thank you.
So I am leaving, if you allow me. So Ben, you can hang around a little bit more if in case there are some questions, because I have to meet with someone. So,
okay.
Thank you very much.
Lunara, thank you so much. Ali, thank you so much. And for all of the participants, students, hope to see you and thank you for participation here. Okay, goodbye now.
Goodbye, thank you. Dear participants, I'd like to add that all the recordings will be uploaded to our YouTube channel after the sessions. So we will have additionally, we have 2 more sessions, and then we will upload all of them to our YouTube channel. All of the registered participants will receive a letter, email, I mean, with the link. So you will have the opportunity to watch it again if you have some questions. Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, there is one question that just popped up where it says, did you have examples of graduate students who took courses in other faculties during their PhD program? Actually, no. Understand that our PhD program is just in its third year. And we haven't had students who have kind of gone overseas or to another university to get to kind of work there or get course credit there or do research there. That's something that hasn't happened yet. But understand that right now, because of the kind of the size of the program, that this hasn't kind of come up yet. Although if people wanted to do this, there might be some opportunities, but I would have to look and see what the current guidelines are for that. Are there any more questions?
If there are no questions, let me, okay, one more question.
Okay, do we need to be at campus throughout the PhD career? Well, I mean, as a student, the expectation is that you are physically present at the university. Now, if it is the case that, say, you wanted to do research in a lab in some other location, I believe that could probably be arranged. Understand that the PhD program is structured that you're really doing coursework for the most part for your first 2 or 3 semesters. But then after that, it's really just focusing on your research. So anything that helps facilitate that, I think, would be quite welcome. But don't think of the PhD program or any of our programs as an online style program, because they're not designed that way. The fact is that you really do need to be working with your advisor on a regular basis. I imagine if you got a faculty advisor at NU, you would be working in one of their labs, and they would probably expect you to be there every day.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, so let me finish this meeting, this session. You can send your additional questions if they occur to our email. I will try to send it to professors if I cannot answer. So, dear professors, thank you very much for your time. It was interesting and helpful. I hope it will be helpful to our participants. Dear participants, thank you for joining us today. Hope to see you all among our students. See you in the next academic year. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Lenora. Thank you, students.